There's a very specific marketing pattern that plays out every time a new it girl rises to fame. First, we fall in love. Then we get sick of her. Then we tear her down, and then if she plays it right, maybe we let her come back. We've seen it with Jennifer Lawrence, Anne Hathaway, Megan Fox, Taylor Swift, even Beyonce. Zendaya survived the crossfire. Jenna Ortega is still kinda in it, and now their internet's already eyeing Sabrina Carpenter and Sydney Sweeney. But why does this happen? Why do we as a culture build women up just to break them down? How did the ones who beat the cycle use branding to do it, and what can we learn from them? Hey friends, I'm Ana The Marketeer, your friendly neighborhood marketeer baddie. I decode the marketing and branding strategies that celebrities, creators, and campaigns use and help break it down for us to learn together and to help you build your own authentic brand. And today we're going to discuss the it girl marketing life cycle, why it keeps happening, and what you can learn from the girlies who survived the backlash. But first, I know most of you watching are not subscribed to my channel. If you've been liking my videos, hit subscribe right now to support the channel and get weekly breakdowns just like this. And if you join my newsletter, Marketer's Memo, you'll get a free download of my authentic branding checklist to help you build your own authentic brand. The link is in the description, and you can also listen to these episodes on Spotify. The link is also in the description. Okay, now let's get into it. The it girl life cycle. So before we dive in, I think it's very important to break down exactly what the it girl life cycle looks like, because it's not new. We've seen this play out for decades. From Marilyn Monroe in the 1950s, literally like the origin of the it girl life cycle, to Bridget Bardot in the 60s, Cher in the 70s, Madonna in the 80s, Winona Ryder in the 90s, as well as all the supermodels like the Tyras, Naomi's, Kate Moss, Cindy Crawford, etc. The 2000s had the chaotic trifecta of Paris Hilton, Britney Spears, Lindsay Lohan, and then some, and even Nicki Minaj, Beyonce, and Taylor Swift in the 2010s had their own version of the rise, peak, backlash cycle. And now we're still watching the same story unfold with the likes of Sabrina Carpenter, Doechii, and Sydney Sweeney, and some more. It's basically a 4-phase marketing funnel disguised as celebrity culture. But once you see it, it's really hard to unsee. So here's usually how it plays out. Step 1, you have the rise, which is the freshness and the relatability. So the woman bursts out onto the scene with something that feels new. She's either quirky, raw, hyper talented, or just aesthetically right for the moment. So some examples that come to mind would be a Jennifer Lawrence during like the Hunger Games times in her, early career. She was goofy, she was messy, clumsy. In the sea of like the stiff red carpet era, she was just kind of like the relatable bestie that just like can't get it right. And then you have Anne Hathaway. She was very earnest and elegant. She was that Disney princess that turned into this Oscar winner. Zooey Deschanel, she was the queen of the hipster era of the late 2000s, early 2010s. Like she had that whole aesthetic with the bangs. That was her era, that was her gig. Sabrina Carpenter, she's our Gen Z pop underdog who sings, writes, and now headlines arenas. Sydney Sweeney, she became the face of soft yet sultry with her role in Euphoria, and her TikTok virality and fashion campaigns continues to build up her career and legacy. Zendaya is riding the wave, beloved now, but carefully managed to avoid overexposure. Jenna Ortega captured a darker, moodier aesthetic with Wednesday and fast became the face of Gen Z's edgy alt chic. At this stage, relatability is the currency. The celebrity, artist, musician, etc. is the accessible celebrity. The internet eats it up as they start seeing themselves in this celeb and their come up. Then we get into step 2, the peak, ubiquity, and the overexposure. So this is the time when the celebrity is everywhere. Paparazzi shots, every interview circuit, the brand deals, billboards, TikTok edits, you can't escape seeing them. And the very thing that we loved the celebrity for starts to feel manufactured. So suddenly now everyone's questioning, is the goofiness real? It's starting to feel forced. The elegance is giving smug. The sweetness, it feels kind of fake. People start questioning, was the celebrity ever real? Then we come into phase 3, the fall, which includes backlash and a cultural audit. The criticism snowballs. Think pieces, Twitter threads, exposing videos. Everyone wants to be the first to call her annoying, overhyped, problematic, or just mid. For Jennifer Lawrence, it was accusations of being too relatable, too clumsy and goofy, to the point of inauthenticity. For Anne Hathaway, it was she tries too hard to be liked with her inauthentic Oscar speeches. They called Beyonce too perfect. It's unrelatable in her early solo career. For Meghan Markle, it's still a daily debate how people feel about her. And more recently, I've noticed a lot of discourse around Doechii after her Grammy win. She was once praised as like this cool experimental rapper-singer hybrid, especially soon after her win. And now I see all online that there's already been a flip on her, and she's like suddenly started to get a lot of haters. She went from rising star to overrated takes on TikTok. And now the fall, phase 3 for her is really starting to creep in. Some other examples would be like a Sabrina Carpenter. Right now, she's really teetering into falling into the phase 3 into the fall. She's everywhere right now, but fans and critics are already starting to question her industry standing, her relationships, and if her cover of Man's Best Friend is like sexy, submissive satire or setting feminism back by 10 years for really appealing to the male gaze. Like, that's a real quote. People are really saying Sabrina is setting feminism back 10 years. Like, come on, people. Sydney Sweeney as well faces criticism over every role, every interview, even her family's political affiliations, and she's inching closer to the backlash zone, where the internet starts looking for a reason to dislike her, including allegedly misrepresenting her background, calling her a pick-me, and saying she's only famous because of her assets. In marketing, this is when a brand faces saturation and the audience turns from loyal to skeptical. Then the celeb moves into phase 4 if they're lucky. This is definitely an optional phase, which is the redemption. Some don't recover, but the smart ones, they go dark. They disappear for a bit. They rebrand or own the narrative. Some examples include Anne Hathaway. She rebounded from the Hathaway era, which is absolutely insane to have a whole era dedicated to hating you. And she came back as a fashion girly with a wink to her own past cringe. She fully embraced her style evolution and now showing up on red carpets, looking unfazed and playful. Another example, Taylor Swift, iconic rebrand. She flipped her downfall into the whole redemption era by leaning into being the villain. She used darker aesthetics, a little bit more bite in her lyrics, and she made her comeback the story. Megan Fox, another good example. She embraced the sex symbol critique and gave us camp by fully leaning into her bombshell image with over-the-top fashion, her past public romance with Machine Gun Kelly, and self-aware interviews that almost parody her own stereotype. It worked because she reclaimed the narrative on her own terms. Redemption requires self-awareness and reinvention, paired with a brand strategy that says, I know what you're saying about me, and I'm already 3 steps ahead of you. So why does this keep happening? There's a few reasons why we keep going through this it girl cycle from the 50s to now. Number 1, society hates ubiquity. We love discovering people, but we resent when something feels forced on us. The media and now the algorithms prioritize what's popular, but human psychology craves novelty. Reason number 2 is projection and ownership. When an it girl rises, we project ourselves onto her. She becomes a symbol of our era, our aesthetics, or our mood. But when she evolves, we feel betrayed, like she owes us consistency and explanation for changing her vibe or changing her aesthetic or making anything that we didn't expect to happen. And number 3, truly sexism and patriarchal branding. They're just straight up sexism that male celebrities do not face in the same way as female celebrities. Society often only allows women one type of success at a time. The moment she feels too big, too confident, too perfect, too real, too controlled, too out of control, too anything at all. The backlash comes as a way to humble her. What creators and brands can learn. If you're building your own personal brand or business, here's what you can learn from the It Girl lifecycle and the girlies who fought their way through the full thing, got past the redemption to become respected icons today. Relatability is a phase, not a strategy. If your whole brand is being the underdog or the cool new girl, prepare to pivot when success shows up. People love a rise, but sadly, they resent your success. Control your narrative. If you don't frame your growth, the internet will do it for you, and usually it's not in your favor. Plan for the backlash. No matter how loved you are, prepare for the day when the internet turns on you. Who are your people, and what's your next move? Always be thinking ahead. Authenticity isn't perfection. People forgive flaws, but they do not forgive fakeness. Own the L's, the cringe, and the evolution. Sustainability comes from depth, not just image. The brands and individuals who last have substance. Depth in storytelling, mission, or skill gives people a reason to stick around when the hype fades. Diversify your identity. When you're known for just one thing, your shelf life is shorter. But if you're known for music and fashion or acting and activism, you stay relevant across cycles. And lastly, don't be afraid to step back. A strategic break can reset the narrative, as we've seen with Anne Hathaway and Jennifer Lawrence. They really stepped back after the peaks in their career to help kind of not erase what was, but to kind of give a breather to the media and to the cycle, to regroup, recess, and figure out what their new brand is going to be. Sometimes disappearing really is a part of the brand strategy. In conclusion, the media always turns on it girls. But the smart ones, they turn the tabloids and the internet right back on themselves. Sabrina Carpenter might be on the backlash list, or she might play it perfectly. Same with Sydney Sweeney, Jenna Ortega, even the Kardashians and Jenners, who truly made a fortune by always being on the backlash list and in the crossfires. And let's keep an eye on Doechii. I'm really curious if she will reinvent herself or she'll let the internet decide her narrative. So what do you think? Who is the next it girl to fall? Who do you think will reinvent themselves before the fall hits? Comment below. Let me know what you think. Of course, hit like, subscribe, share with a friend if you care. And don't forget, if interested, you can join my Marketers Memos newsletter to get that free checklist. You can also follow me on Spotify if you want these videos on the go. Until next time, Marketeers, stay iconic, stay revolutionary, and most importantly, stay you.